So it's great to get to talk to you. I'm Lawana, and I work at Regis College, and I'm one of the professors that works there. And we actually found your name about via Johnson & Johnson, and you being one of the 15 innovative, disruptive change makers during COVID as a nurse. So first of all, what I really want to know, and what I'm sure the students always want to know, is how did Miss Connie Johnson end up being a nurse? Where did all of that start for you, Miss Connie?
A long time ago, 41 years ago.
Wow.
So it's really kind of cool. I had a lot of things going on in my life, and there were a lot of negative things in my life. And I was told I had options. And one of my options was to go to nursing school. So I went. And when I realized at the end of the day, it was just rewarding to know that you really made an impact on a complete stranger's life, and people really just appreciated you for, what you were able to do for them. And then as time went on, I mean, things were a lot different back then. Mm-hmm. But as time went on, I started to master my wound and ostomy skills because I found that nobody else wanted to do it.
I was going to say that because everybody runs from the wounds, Miss Connie, even the nurses.
Right. Between the wounds and the ostomies. And I can tell you how much they have changed over the last 40 plus years. Just the products alone. Mm-hmm. But I protect my patients, so don't ever mess with my patients. It's just a rewarding feeling knowing that you could fix something, and you're fixing, I work very closely with surgery here at the hospital. They fix the inside, we fix the outside. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's just rewarding. It really is.
It has. And I know you've done outstanding work. I was reading where the National Alliance of Wound Care and Ostomy recognized you in 2017 for outstanding achievement. And that was out of 22,000 people who do what you do. You were the best of the best. So that was amazing.
It is. It's really kind of cool. It really is.
That is. So I want to talk a little bit about what brought us to you, which is COVID. So I have to tell you this, Miss Connie, even as a nurse, I did not think at all about the impact that COVID would have when it came to wounds and skin care. But I want you to tell me, with the brilliant brain that you have, what were you thinking when we got into COVID about what was going to happen with these patients?
We didn't have time to think. We weren't given any time to think. We were, I was told that I was called by anesthesia, is how it started, because they needed something. So they called me because they knew that I would come up with something. Mm-hmm. And I did. But we were given literally, normally if you just say if you're going to roll something out in the hospital, a change of policy or what have you, you have weeks, you have months, you write things, you rehash things, what have you. It's months. No, it was a matter of hours. We were going to meet again at noontime and we were going to start doing this, but we had to have everything in place. Because we had shut down the operating rooms because we were using every facility possible as a vent room. So everything became critical care units, all of our PACUs and, recoveries, any space we had was now going to be a critical care unit.
Wow.
So we needed to figure it out fast what we were going to do with these patients. So since those areas were closed down, they had asked for not so much volunteers because we didn't really volunteer. Yes, we were paid, but we did step up to the plate. Let's look at it that way. We stepped up. So I had 4 guys from the OR that were OR techs. There were other people that here and there had tried to help out. We developed such a strong bond, the 5 of us, that there was nobody could help us because we worked for a few over, I think it was 62 or 64 days straight.
Wow.
And people would say, how did you, we didn't know how we did it. We just did it. We figured it out in a matter of hours. and we just moved forward. So, but the skin, we knew the skin was going to be an issue because all the patients were so severely compromised.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So, what would be, I mean, thinking about it as even with nurses, I looked at the article that I was telling you that I just literally got published.
Kind of cool, right?
Yes, it was very cool. I looked and I was like, she just had something published last month. We are talking to, the best of the best. So that article, for those who want to know, is in the American Journal of Critical Care Nursing. And it talks about the way that you all treated the pressure injuries and everything that would happen, or try to prevent the pressure injuries in patients that had either COVID or the acute respiratory distress syndrome. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you did? I know one thing in particular that I didn't think about was protecting the eyes and eyelids.
So protecting the eyes and the eyelids, as with everything else, we use all of our products that we were using were silicone back dressings, because all of the patients had a certain amount of edema. And especially when you put them down into a prone position, you get the face edema. Even though we're turning the heads every 4 hours, you would still have a gross amount of edema, which causes skin stripping, and you end up with a lot of horrible skin tears on the face. So we used, it's a silicone dressing. So we would put the ointment into the eyes, and then, we would put the silicone dressing over the eyes. So this way, when there was edema, it would give and it would stretch with the edema.
Wow.
So it didn't cause the skin stripping. It went with it.
That is amazing. See, I would not have ever thought about that. So did you all have like a skin team that was assigned to see patients? How did the rotation go as far as who was doing the assessments there?
As far as...
like with the patients in the units, was there like a team that was specifically
during COVID?
Yes.
So during COVID, no, it was the prone team. I was like the lead person for the pro team, and I had 4 OR techs with me.
Okay.
There was nobody else.
Okay. And you all were rounding on all the patients?
Yes. So we did, because most of the patients at one point were all being prone. We would prone several of them a day. And outside of that, nursing was always checking their own patients and their own skin. Whoever was entering that room that day would do it. When we entered the rooms, whether we were proning or supining the patients, we would always, we assess the skin from head to toe. Because we would take everything off and we would wash them and moisturize their skin before we would turn them to the other side.
Right.
So
that sounds like a lot of work, Miss Connie.
It is a lot of work, but you have to do it.
Right.
You have to do it. These people, there's nobody else to do it for them. There was no visitors. There was nothing. We were their family. We were their,
Wow. They were very fortunate. Were you all able to share? I know you had this article that you've written, but during the time, were you sharing this with any other healthcare systems or anything?
Yes, we did. And we had the opportunity as people learned about what we were doing, because we had a little YouTube video we had made using the secretary from downstairs. But, so we did little things, and we did share it with several other facilities nationwide. Different people would hear about it. It's there, the information's there, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Anybody needs anything, I'll send them anything.
Yeah. I think COVID taught us that as well, that we needed to share, everybody was sharing everything.
Too often people are, well, that's no, it's not yours. It's not, no.
Yeah. If it can benefit the patients, we definitely want to share it,
Absolutely.
and make them healthier. I have to tell you that when I was reading about the great work that you're doing, I thought back to my very first clinical day in nursing school, which was like 17 really about 17 to 20 years ago. We had to go in. My instructor said to the clinical group, this patient's agreed for us to come in to do his wound dressing change, and so there were 7 of us, and here we all are crowded, the young girls into the room. And so I had grandparents who were diabetics. One was an amputee. Right. I had, well, she goes to start unwrapping this gentleman's foot. And I, of course, already know that it's probably not going to be good if he's been in there, whatever. So he had a pretty good sized foot ulcer that was almost through and through part of his foot.
Right.
And when I looked up, 3 of the people in my class had exited the room. One kept running till she got outside of the building. And that day, 2 of them actually decided they wanted to be something.
I was going to say, did they come back?
2 of them never came back because so that highlights for us how specialized and how special a person it takes to do what you do. Yeah. But I'll also tell you the flip side of that was, while I have seen my grandfather have a foot ulcer where he ended up losing toes and feet, but I've also been in travels with the home healthcare nurse and seen the wound vac used on a wound over a period of time with different dressings and seen the skin recover beautifully.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. So I just am really in awe of all that you all are able to do. And with the COVID patients being prone or being in the bed for that long period of time for some of them, that further complicates things, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, when it comes to the skin. So it was really good. So we wanted to make sure that we had a chance to talk to you. I do want to close with 2 questions. What would you say to nursing students who are considering going into nurse? What would be a good reason for them? What makes a good wound care nurse? What makes a good wound care and ostomy care nurse?
It's not even a wound care nurse. Just to be that good nurse, just to be there, just to make a difference for somebody else. You have to want to make a difference. You have to have passion for what you're doing. If you don't have passion, when it starts becoming a job, you need to change what you're doing.
Exactly.
When you just love what you do, when you go there, you do it.
Yes. But that does make a difference.
I've had a lot of talks with a lot of the new nurses because unfortunately a lot of them didn't have clinicals. They shut it down. And I said, why are they shutting it down? Bring them here. We can use the help.
There you go.
But they wouldn't come because of COVID. So it's that was a learning experience for them alone. But they learned so much virtually. You know, now it's a matter of exposing them to all of those wounds and things.
Right. And, that makes a difference.
When they have to approach the real patient at the bedside, it's a whole different ballgame. So but they have to want to be able to make that difference.
That's definitely true. And it's interesting you mentioned that because we thought the same thing. We were like, this is the time to have the nursing students in, because now to show you the difference, the medical students and the pharmacy students were in. They were all, they didn't really get their, I worked for a school here and all the med students were in the clinics and doing the thing and the pharmacy students. And I was like, why can't the nursing students be in?
I know. But everybody didn't know, nobody wanted to be exposed. And, and we watched a number of good nurses go home and not come back because it was really, honestly and mentally, it's, big changer, it really was. But
I can imagine. I think we're going to see some of the mental effects of it in nursing for a long time after this.
Oh yeah. Fortunately, we do have people here.
That's wonderful.
We have the psychologists and stuff, and they're readily available all the time. They were there with us, for us.
Oh, that's amazing.
They helped us a lot. So
that's great. I'm glad to hear that they were able to do that and to provide support for you. So as we are still in the throes of COVID and it's changing a little bit every day, what is it that makes you hopeful? What are your hopes for where we're heading with this, Miss Connie?
For COVID?
For COVID, for nursing, for the whole thing, because you've got a view of nursing that few have now with 41 years, you know? So
as far as COVID, I'm not sure that, yes, I'm hopeful that it's over, but it's not. Because there's just too many people that want to make it political. I'm over it. I'm just, so we just do what we have to do to get through every day. We protect each other. What makes me hopeful for the new nurses is we just brought in a number of brand new nurses. They have never really been at the bedside. And I really hope that the remaining staff nurses here take the time and have the compassion to train them, because they've never really been trained. They've not had that bedside experience, and you need to have that. You need to be able to have that to make that difference.
You're exactly right. You definitely need, nothing beats that one-on-one care that you have. And no matter what nurses go on to do in the future, the bedside, I worked in labor and delivery for 8 or 9 years, night shift at the hospital. So there's no substitute for holding that patient's hand. And The
Yeah.
skin,
Or getting
skin to
yelled at.
skin.
You,
Yeah,
you know, and so many of them, I tell them, I said, you've never walked in that room and been cussed out. And, you know, it's going to happen. It's going to
it
happen. You
will.
don't fall apart because it's coming. So,
Exactly.
you
You're
know,
right. And that's when
yeah.
you remember that it's the sickness that's talking and not the patient most of the time.
Absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
But
So, well, it is so
anyway,
glad. I'm so glad that we were able to talk
now
to
that we
you.
finally figured this whole thing out.
Yes, I know. And I know that the students will benefit from being able to hear about all the years of experience. I want to personally thank you for all that you've contributed to nursing, because I know that 40 years ago from till now,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of the changes that have
Big
come
changes.
about. Yeah, but they've come
Yeah.
about because of nurses like you
Yeah.
making suggestions, making changes,
Right.
deciding to do different things. You know, it's a lot of big change. So we truly appreciate you. And
Yeah.
I thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. And we hope that the next time that we see each other, that we will have something to talk about other than COVID.
Yeah, right.
All
I know,
right.
right?
Thanks
All
so
right.
much, and enjoy
Hey,
the
thank
rest of your
you.
day.